Let's go ahead and take a look at homework number 2. Okay. So first thing is they would like you to find the error in each of the following formulas or names. There's a problem. Correct each example. So we need to go through them all right here, 1 through 11. There's a problem with something and we need to correct it. Okay. So let's look at this one. Aluminum and oxygen. They're telling me that there's a problem here. First thing is aluminum has a +3 charge. Oxygen is a -2 charge. And if we crisscross those, they did not crisscross, they just brought them straight down. We must crisscross. So the correct way should be Al2O3. We cannot reduce that, so we'll leave it as is. The next one, we've got a polyatomic, which is fine. Polyatomics go first, and then a nonmetal. Okay. But in this case, the polyatomic here, and you can go to your polyatomic chart, is a +1 charge. Chlorine is a -1 charge. Crisscross those over. Oops, +1. What happens with a 1? When we have a 1 that's going to go to a polyatomic, we do not include parentheses. If you do, that is incorrect. It will be marked wrong. So no parentheses. NH4. Do not add parentheses. Cl. That's how it's going to be written. Okay. Potassium and a polyatomic. And remember, when we have a metal and a polyatomic, the metal is going to go first. In this case, we had a polyatomic and a nonmetal. So the polyatomic is going to go first. So let's go ahead and let's look at this. Potassium is a +1 charge. The polyatomic is a -1 charge. So +1, -1, crisscross those. What happens when we have a 1 that goes over down to the polyatomic? We do not use parentheses, and that is incorrect. So it should be KClO2 and leave it as is. Okay. The next one, I see the mistake here is that the metal always goes in front of a polyatomic. So in this case, it's going to be Al, and I'm going to come over here and write it out. Al, it has a +3 charge, and the polyatomic OH has a -1 charge. Now let's crisscross those. The 3 is going to come over to the polyatomic. We must use parentheses if we have any other number besides 1. So we're going to have to use parentheses. Al, parentheses OH, parentheses 3. Now that's how you write it correctly. Let's keep looking. We have calcium, which is a metal, and then a polyatomic. Calcium is a +2 charge. This polyatomic is a -1 charge. Let's crisscross those over. So in this case, it should be Ca. We don't put a number 1. This 2 is going to go to the polyatomic, and so when it happens, we are definitely still going to need the parentheses. So Cn close parentheses 2. Okay. Lead, Pb, and NO3. So Pb is going to be a, is that a metal or is it a non-metal? It's a metal. And not only is it a metal, but it is a polyatomic metal. Okay. I'm sorry. Why did I say polyatomic? I meant to say transition metal. I apologize. My brain was looking at this polyatomic over here. Okay. Now let's go ahead and let's look at this because we need to decide what's going on because I know that transition metals have more than one. Okay. But let's go over here just in case so that way we're all on the same page. When we look for lead, which is the Pb over here, let me get my periodic table out to make sure so you can see it. And here it is. Okay. Ta-da! Where's my Pb? This Pb, though, or lead, is actually in group 14. Okay? So it can be the plus or the -4, but it's also considered to be the transition metal. So again, it's going to have those more than one oxidation number. So let's come over here and let's look. NO3, let's start off with that one because that one's going to be pretty. We can look on the polyatomics. Let me write it over here. Pb, NO3. NO3 is a -1 charge. Lead is going to be a +2 charge. This one's a +2 charge. And so when we crisscross those, okay, the 2 is going to come over here. So we're definitely going to need the parentheses. 1 is going to come over here to the lead. But again, though, we don't write a number 1. It's invisible. So PB parentheses NO3 close parentheses 2. Nickel. Alrighty, so let's look at this one. We have nickel and we have NO3. Look at this. There's a problem here. We need to have parentheses. We can't have 32. Okay, but this 2 came over here. Okay, so I can see that Ni is a +2 charge. My NO3 is actually a, -1 charge. Let's crisscross those. And in this case, Ni parentheses NO3 close parentheses 2. Okay. Magnesium and fluorine. All right, well, the metal comes first. Magnesium is a +2 charge. Fluorine is a -1 charge. They just brought those numbers down. They didn't crisscross them. So we need to crisscross them. MgF2. Chlorine and potassium. Remember, potassium is a metal, so it has to go first. So actually, it should be KCl. So let's look at this. K has a +1 charge. Cl is a -1 charge. Crisscross those, so KCl. Let's keep going. Calcium and oxygen. Okay, well, calcium definitely goes first because it's a metal. But here's the but. They didn't reduce them. So I'm just going to go ahead and right here put reduce. So in this case, it should be CaO. Done. NO-Na. Oh, there's a problem. Na, which is sodium, is a metal, so it must go first. So I'm going to come over here and put Na, which is a +1 charge. NO3, which is a -1 charge. Let's crisscross those. And when we crisscross those, then in that case, we're going to have a Na, no parentheses, NO3, and leave it as is. Okay, so hopefully that helped out a little bit. I'm not too sure. I'm hoping. Let's go ahead, write the formulas for the following. So now they gave us these elements that are going to be bonded together, and we need to write the formulas. What do we need? So we write the formulas. We've got to have that charge number, so that way we can crisscross it. So maybe it's easier. Let me go ahead. Ba is a +2 charge. Chlorine is a -1 charge. I'm just going to go ahead and put all the charges down first, okay, before I do anything. Sodium is a metal. Sodium is a +1 charge. Nitrogen is a -3 charge. Let's keep going. Calcium is a metal, so it's going to have a plus charge. And calcium is going to be a +2. I'm so sorry, +2 charge. Oxygen is a -2 charge. Aluminum and carbonate, that's a polyatomic, but metals go first. So a +3 charge, a -2 charge. Calcium is a metal, so it goes first, +2. And then a polyatomic has a -2 charge. Iron, in parentheses, this indicates that this is a transition metal. So this one has a +3 charge. Oxygen's a nonmetal, which is a -2 charge. Okay, so let's don't forget, we're going to have to crisscross these, right? All of them. And we need to remember to reduce. And we need to remember, if we have a polyatomic, if the number 1 is going to crisscross over, no parentheses. If it's 2, 3, 4, whatever number, then we must use parentheses. So let's go ahead and come over here and let's write in the answers. When I crisscross this 1, comes over here to the BaCl2. Sodium, Na, this 3 comes over. Nitrogen, N, and the 1 crosses over to the N. Oxygen, look at this, 2 and 2. I'm going to write this right here, reduce. So when I reduce those 2's, it becomes a 1. So in that case, we don't write anything because a 1 is, invisible. So CaO, leave it as is. We are going to have a 3 and a 2. We're going to crisscross them. We're not going to be able to reduce. Carbonate as a polyatomic, so we are going to have to use parentheses because of the 3. So Al2 parentheses when I write the carbonate, that's CO3, close parentheses, 3. Okay? Let's keep going. I got calcium over here, Ca, but what do I need to do? I have a 2 and a 2, so I need to remember to reduce. Okay? So when I reduce it to a 1 and a 1, I do not use parentheses on the polyatomic SO4. The 3 and the 2 cannot reduce, so iron Fe2O3. Okay? Not too bad. Let's keep going because, again, I just think it's wise and good to go back and double check, make sure that you did it the same way as I did. I think it's just helpful for you. Now, the last part over here just tells me go ahead and use that crisscross method, right? We need to write the formula out. I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing again, and I'm going to write the oxidation numbers first, and then after that I can do my crisscrossing. So aluminum is a +3. This is a polyatomic, which is a -2. Barium is a +2. This is a polyatomic. It's a -2. Cobalt is a transition metal, but that Roman numeral 3 indicates it's a +3 charge. Chlorine is a nonmetal, which is a -1 charge. Iron, again, polyatomic, +2. I'm so sorry, transition metal. The polyatomic PO4, which has a -3 charge. Lead, Pb, is a 4. In that case, my lead here is going to come and I'm so sorry, +4. Oxygen is a -2. Next one, NH4 and sulfur. So the polyatomic is going to go first. That's a +1 charge, and my sulfur is a -2 charge. Okay, we're going to crisscross them. But don't forget, I'm going to go ahead and write this down. This one needs to be reduced, 2 and 2, to a 1 and 1. 3 and 1 cannot reduce. 2 and 3 cannot reduce. But 4 and 2 can reduce. So I'm going to put reduce. And a 4 can go to a 2, and the 2 becomes a 1. How about that? Don't let that throw you off. Okay, and then a 1 and 2 cannot reduce anymore. So let's go ahead and now let's do this. Aluminum, Al2. The 3 is going to go to the polyatomic, so we must use parentheses. SO4, close parentheses, 3. We're going to reduce to a 1 and 1, so BaCO3. The 1 comes over and the 3 comes over, so COCl3. The 3 is going to come over to the iron, Fe3PO4. This is a 2 that's going to come to the polyatomic, so let's put parentheses in a 2. The 2 is going to cross this way, and the 1 is going to come over here to the lead, so PbO2. Did you get that one right? And let's keep going. The polyatomic is going to go first, but this 2 is going to cross over, so I must use parentheses, NH4, close parentheses, 2, S, and leave it like that. Okay, hopefully this was helpful. Again, this is homework number 2. I will take pictures of homework number 2 for you, and I'm just hoping it will help you out a little bit more. Have a good day.